Alright, I'm Edmund Lockhart, and this is my midterm exam. Question 1. Moral in one of his theories suggests that space is always, albeit subjectively, optimized. How has the physical geography of Michigan made this optimization of space easier and or more difficult? Is regional optimization also impacted by time or time periods? In Michigan, we have been able to optimize use of our space by the needs that we see fit at times. We have been able to use the natural waterways in Michigan to move goods from one point to another. The Great Lakes have granted us easier access at trade with surrounding states and even Canada. The relatively flat lands of lower Michigan have made it easier for us to farm the land after clearing the forest. And now we can even see how the cities in Michigan form that they are formed from how the area was used at one point or another. For example, Bay City, Michigan, my hometown, was originally a lumber town that used its access to the Saginaw River that led to the Great Lakes as a way to gain and become a large area for shipping lumber across the world. And even until the 1990s, the river was used to support the community by bringing in supplies for GM and supplies for local areas around Bay City. How we use the land changes over time as we see a need arise. We do not optimize the use of land and space the same way that we would have in Michigan in the late 1800s. How we optimize the land and space will change over the time with technology and how we as humans see fit and what takes priority. This also means that, yes, regional optimization is impacted by time and periods. Bay City with the lumber area, the UP with mining, and even Grand Rapids with its furniture area. These are all different regions in Michigan that use the land to fit their needs at one point or another. Question 2. Climate, soils, and vegetation transition evolve in Michigan at about the same latitude. Elaborate on this phenomenon. In Michigan, where the soils are seen to split, we can also see where the climates begin to change. To the south is DFA, and the south holds alpha soils, and to the north is DFB with spotted soils. To the south we see mostly broadleaf vegetation that's deciduous, and to the north we see evergreens and coniferous. The spotted soils in northern Michigan and alpha soils in southern Michigan separates the agriculture. Spotted soils are relatively poor for agriculture. This is due to the sandy materials that were pushed by the glaciers in the area. Spotted soils are also poor for drainage. This is why many places have marshes and bogs. Coniferous trees prefer the sandy spotted soils, while broadleaf deciduous trees prefer the soil makeup of alpha soils. This is why we see a clear difference along the parallel. Southern Michigan is better for farming and for broadleaf, and is why we see limited numbers of coniferous trees down south, while the north is bad for farming, besides agriculture that relies on tree fruits like cherries in Traverse City. Above a certain volume, snow becomes firm and then ice. Ice exhibits a certain plasticity. What is the plasticity? What does it translate into when applied to glaciers? Which glacial landscapes are a byproduct of this plasticity or lack of plasticity below a certain thickness? If you have the snow pack up over time to create firn, then ice, and if it reaches 200 feet, it will turn to liquid since it is not able to support itself anymore. It will begin to collapse on itself due to the internal strength is not able to support itself anymore. If it goes higher than 200 feet, the ice will flow away from the zone of accumulation until it reaches 200 feet, and it will continue to do this as long as it stays above 200 feet, but below it, the glacier will stop. If the rate of thawing is faster than the resupply of ice, then the glacier will begin to recede. It will advance if it stays above 200 feet. If it is equal to the amount of melting, the glacier will remain stationary. As ice moves, it scrapes along the bottom. The ice acts like water and finds the path of least resistance. It will flow up and fill up river valleys. As ice continues to flow, the front of the glacier will block the flow, and then debris under it will be pulled up. This will insulate so the debris will go on top of the glacier and it will be covered with dirt eventually and allow trees to grow on it. Also, where the glacier stops, we have moraines, which is why we have hills across Michigan. Question 4. How and why do mineral resources spatially differentiate between the western Upper Peninsula and lower peninsulas in Michigan? The mineral resources are spatially different between the western Upper Peninsula and the lower peninsula because of the different types of soils that make up each area. UP at one point had a fault that ran through it, which allowed for one of the largest copper deposits in the United States. Also, the makeup of the soils allowed for different minerals. Not only does the soils have a big part of this, but it's also how far glaciers have moved across and where they have stopped that is a major factor in this. That is all my answers.